Today's show, we focus on a crisis really in our world. Today is World Day Against Human Trafficking, and it's becoming a real challenge that we all have a responsibility to address. According to the RCMP, the vast majority of trafficking victims in Canada are female. Statistics Canada reported that 95% of trafficking victims identified by police were women, with Indigenous women and girls disproportionately affected. And many of these victims are young, with nearly 1/4 being under the age of 18. So today, as we shed light on this really dark industry, we welcome Jasmine De Fina, Executive Director of SafeHope Home, a place where former human trafficking victims go to find healing and hope. So let's hear how your partnership dollars are helping their mission. Jasmine, thank you so much for being with us here today.
Hi, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, well, today is World Day Against Human Trafficking, and we do know that human trafficking isn't confined to foreign countries or border crossings. It's actually a real problem right here, even in Canada. So for our viewers who may not have heard about what you do, and can you tell us a little bit about the mission of Safe Hope Home and the work that you are doing to break the cycle of human trafficking in Canada?
Yes, absolutely. So Safe Hope Home is actually one of Canada's only survivor-led long-term recovery programs for survivors of human trafficking. And we offer a few different programs. So we have an outreach program where our staff goes in community and meets the survivors where they're at. Some of them who are still entrenched, being trafficked, but just needing someone to reach out to when they're in crisis situations. We help to give them food. We help them find safety and shelter. Whatever their need is, we meet them where they're at. We also have our long-term live-in program. So we have a home with 6 bedrooms and a transitional apartment. And it's a really cozy home in the country where survivors are able to just come and be loved on and just relax and de-stress and have a safe place where they can start to begin their healing process. We help them to pay for food and basic needs, and they're able to stay as long as they need to work on the next steps in their life, whatever that looks like for them. We also have our day program where survivors go that live in our program. They go Monday to Thursday to our office where they do deep healing trauma work with our clinical team. We also help to provide trauma therapy for the women and help to reconnect them in their communities and to church and we pray over them, and we have a big support from our local church who comes in, does volunteer work, and helps the women, and of course the incredible support that you folks give us at the 700 Club, and so that's essentially what we do.
Well, thank you. I mean that. Thank you so much. You're impacting eternity, and we are just grateful to be a partner with you in that. And I can imagine there's some incredible challenges. So in Ontario specifically, where you are, how does Safe Hope Home address these challenges that we're facing?
Yeah, it's really challenging in that while it is illegal to purchase sex, we haven't actually targeted the demand, unfortunately. And so as long as there are buyers, traffickers will continue to traffic, and our women and girls will continue to be victimized and trafficked. And so that's one of the really big challenges. The other big challenge is that, we've had this inflation and, cost of living, everything's increased tremendously. But unfortunately, funding to social services and, ODSP, Ontario Disability, or Ontario Works, which most of our survivors have to go on once they escape their trafficker due to this financial situation the trafficker leaves them in, that has not increased either. And so they do not have a means to survive financially when leaving these situations. And so with the funding, we're constantly having to, kind of put in funding asks and kind of beg for the dollars to just house and feed and clothe these women, and most often their children as well, because they come with children a lot of times, and shelters. The shelters don't often accept survivors of human trafficking because, a little bit of a difficult case type to handle. We have a lot of trauma and, heightened, typical expected responses of trauma. And so oftentimes the violence against women shelters aren't equipped to handle survivors of human trafficking. And so where SafeHope Home comes in is we do a lot of supporting those basic needs. And so, with the dollars the 700 Club gives us and other donors, we help to support the survivors' basic needs: the food, shelter, clothing, things for their children, trauma therapies paid for, those types of things, as well as the staff that are there to support them through their healing journey, and help them to navigate the systems that are really difficult to navigate: the shelters, the applications, the medical needs, that sort of thing, getting their identification that traffickers have taken from them. So those are our biggest challenges and how we meet them.
Yeah, well, thank you so much for addressing these. And again, it is an honor to partner with you on that. And no, I mean, there's some really good stories, though, as well. And so maybe can you just share with our viewers a success story that exemplifies the impact that Safe Hope Home is having on individuals?
Yeah, I mean, I have so many success stories that I can share. Throughout the 5 years that I've, almost 6 years I've been at Safe Hope Home. But one in particular that really touches my heart is this one participant. She, came to Safe Hope Home. She grew up in the family of violence and exploitation in the familial setting. So that means that her family trafficked her. Her mother was also being trafficked. Grew up with addictions, mental health, all of those challenges. Was really hopeless when she came to us, and didn't have a hope for her future, or thought that she could be anything or do anything. And she came to Safe Hope Home. She had a really difficult time in her first stay with us, but she kept pushing through, and she ended up being baptized. She came to know the Lord. We connected her with a volunteer who kind of nurtured her faith journey a little bit. And then she ended up kind of going back. So right after being baptized, we know that oftentimes there's an attack. She did slip back and end up back into the community and in a domestic abuse relationship. And for a lot of people, that could look very different. But she, really felt connected to Safe Hope and the community and the staff. And so she reached out. And for me, that's a success. Just, being able to reach back out for that help and knowing where to go. And so she reached out and she came back. She came back to Safe Hope Home. She's been with us for almost a year now. She is doing incredible. She's actually a leader in the home for the other women, telling them, when they want to run away from the healing journey because it's so tough. She's always encouraging them and, sharing her faith with them. And now she's gotten a few other women to start attending church with her. And it's just been so incredible to see her on her journey. So she hasn't reached where she wants to yet, but for me, it's a success that she was able to come back and to do that and to pour love onto her, fellow survivor sisters.
What a great story. Jasmine, thank you so much for what you're doing. It is an honor for us to partner with you in that. We will continue to do that because you're in the front lines. We believe in what you're doing. We are cheering you on and praying for victory to come to so many who are trapped in human trafficking. And so thank you for being with us here today.
Thank you so much.
Well, for more information on ways that you can actually help support ministries like Safe Hope Home, visit us at 700club.ca.